What if your city could feel a traffic jam before it happened and reroute thousands of cars automatically? What if the streetlight above your head knew you were walking home late at night and brightened up just for you? What if the trash can on your corner sent a message to the collection truck only when it was actually full? Saving fuel, time, and money on every single pickup? This is not a utopian fantasy from a Netflix series. This is already happening, right now, in cities across the world, and the technology making it possible is advancing so fast that by 2026, smart city projects have become one of the single largest areas of infrastructure investment on the planet. But here's the thing. The idea of a city that adapts, thinks, and responds to its people? That dream is much, much older than the internet. And the story of how we got here is wilder than you might expect. Welcome to the Lazy Time Machine. Let's explore the city of the future by first going back to the cities of the past. Before we talk about sensors and data networks, let's rewind. Way back. Around 2600 BCE, the ancient city of Mohenjo-daro in what is now modern Pakistan was already doing something remarkable. It had a grid street layout. It had a sophisticated underground drainage system. It had standardized brick sizes for construction. It had public baths and garbage collection infrastructure. In other words, it was engineered, deliberately, systematically, to serve the people living inside it. Jump forward to ancient Rome. At its peak, Rome was home to over 1 million people, an almost unimaginable urban density for the ancient world. The Romans built aqueducts, stretching hundreds of kilometers to deliver fresh water into the city. They built a sewer system, the Cloaca Maxima, that was so well constructed parts of it are still functional today, over 2,000 years later. They engineered roads so precise and durable that many of their routes still form the backbone of European infrastructure. The point is this: humans have been trying to build smarter, more efficient, more responsive cities for thousands of years. What changed in the 21st century is not the ambition, it is the toolkit. And the toolkit we have now is unlike anything any civilization in history has ever had access to. Let's break down what a smart city actually is, because the term gets thrown around a lot without much explanation. At its core, a smart city is an urban environment where physical infrastructure is connected to a digital nervous system. Thousands, sometimes millions, of sensors embedded in roads, buildings, streetlights, waste bins, water pipes, and public transit vehicles constantly collect data. That data flows into centralized analytics platforms, often powered by artificial intelligence, which then make real-time decisions or recommendations to optimize how the city functions. Think of it like this. A traditional city is like a body with no nervous system. Things happen. A pipe bursts. Traffic backs up. A park fills with people. And city administrators find out hours or days later, usually from complaints. A smart city is a body with a fully functioning nervous system. The moment something happens anywhere in the urban environment, the signal travels instantly to the brain, and a response begins immediately. Traffic management is one of the clearest examples. Cities like Singapore and Barcelona have already deployed AI-powered traffic signal systems that analyze real-time vehicle flow and dynamically adjust light timing across entire districts. The result? Travel times reduced by up to 25% in pilot areas, emissions down, fuel consumption lower, and fewer frustrated drivers sitting at a red light staring at an empty intersection. Waste management is another. In Songdo, South Korea, one of the most advanced smart cities ever built, constructed almost entirely from scratch starting in 2003, garbage is never collected by trucks driving set routes. Instead, an underground pneumatic tube system automatically sucks waste from buildings directly to processing centers, guided by sensors that monitor fill levels in real time. The entire city produces almost zero conventional garbage trucks on its streets. The scale of investment flowing into smart city technology in 2025 and 2026 is staggering. The global smart city market was valued at approximately $600 billion in 2023. Projections place it at over $1.7 trillion by 2030. That is not a niche technology trend. That is one of the largest infrastructure investments in human history, comparable in scale to the electrification of cities in the early 20th century or the construction of national highway systems in the mid-1900s. By 2026, over 1,000 cities worldwide have active smart city initiatives at various stages of development. From New York and London to Nairobi and Medellin, urban governments are deploying sensor networks, smart lighting, intelligent transit systems, and AI-powered public safety tools at unprecedented speed. The environmental impact alone justifies the investment. Studies from the International Energy Agency show that smart building systems, which automatically adjust heating, cooling, and lighting based on occupancy and weather data, can reduce a building's energy consumption by up to 30%. Multiply that across an entire city, and the carbon reduction numbers become genuinely significant. Smart water management systems in cities like Tokyo have reduced water loss from pipe leaks, which in many older cities accounts for 20 to 30% of all water supply, to under 3%. In a world facing increasing water scarcity, that is not just efficiency, that is survival infrastructure. If you are finding this as mind-blowing as we do, you are clearly our kind of traveler. Hit that subscribe button and join the Lazy Time Machine community. We explore technology, history, and everything in between, every single week. The next trip is already being planned, and you do not want to miss it. Here's a concept that urban planners and technology researchers are increasingly using to describe the direction smart cities are heading. The city as a living organism. In biology, a living organism is defined by its ability to sense its environment, process information, respond to change, and adapt over time. Strip away the biology and replace it with technology. And a fully realized smart city does exactly the same things. It senses. Through millions of IoT devices and environmental monitors, tracking air quality, noise levels, foot traffic, temperature, structural stress in bridges and buildings, and dozens of other variables simultaneously. It processes. Through AI platforms that analyze incoming data streams in real time, identify patterns, predict problems before they occur, and generate response recommendations. It responds. Through automated systems that adjust traffic signals, dispatch emergency services along optimized routes, trigger flood barriers when water sensors detect rising levels, or dim streetlights in empty areas to conserve energy. And increasingly, it learns. Machine learning systems embedded in city infrastructure get better over time. The smart traffic system that has operated for 3 years has learned the patterns of school rush hours, local events, seasonal weather impacts, and hundreds of other variables that a new system would have no way of anticipating. Amsterdam in the Netherlands has been running one of the most sophisticated urban data platforms in the world since 2015. The city's smart infrastructure monitors everything from canal water quality to cyclist density on bike lanes, feeding all of it into a public dashboard that both city administrators and ordinary citizens can access. Transparency and efficiency built into the same system. And now, because the lazy time machine always looks at both sides of the timeline, we need to talk about what can go wrong. A city with a digital nervous system is a city with a digital attack surface. In 2021, a hacker gained access to a water treatment facility in Oldsmar, Florida, and attempted to increase the sodium hydroxide levels in the water supply to potentially dangerous concentrations. The intrusion was caught in time. But the incident revealed a terrifying vulnerability. The more connected urban infrastructure becomes, the more catastrophic a successful cyber attack can be. There's also the surveillance question. Smart cities require sensors everywhere. And sensors that can monitor traffic can also monitor people. China's city of Rongcheng has deployed one of the most extensive urban surveillance systems ever built, using facial recognition cameras, AI behavior analysis, and a social credit scoring system that rewards and penalizes citizens based on monitored behavior. Whether you find that reassuring or terrifying probably depends a great deal on where you live and what you value. Even in democratic cities, the data collected by smart infrastructure raises profound questions about privacy, consent, and who actually owns the information generated by millions of citizens simply going about their daily lives. In 2020, Google's Sidewalk Labs, a project designed to build a fully instrumented smart neighborhood in Toronto, Canada, was cancelled after years of public opposition centered almost entirely on data privacy concerns. The technology was ready. The public trust was not. History has a word for this tension: governance. Every major technological infrastructure shift, railroads, electricity, telecommunications, eventually ran into the same wall. The technology outpaced the rules, and society had to scramble to catch up. So where does this go from here? The most advanced smart city concepts being developed in 2025 and 2026 go well beyond sensors and data dashboards. Researchers are working on what they call digital twins, complete virtual replicas of entire cities, updated in real time, that allow urban planners to simulate the impact of decisions before implementing them in the physical world. Want to know what happens to traffic flow if you close a major bridge for repairs? Run it in the digital twin first. Want to model how a new residential development affects air quality across 3 districts? Simulate it before breaking ground. NEOM, the futuristic city being constructed in Saudi Arabia, is perhaps the most ambitious smart city project ever attempted. Designed entirely from scratch in the desert, it aims to be a 170-kilometer linear city powered entirely by renewable energy, with no traditional roads or cars, AI-managed public services, and a governance structure designed around citizen data feedback loops from day one. Whether NEOM succeeds or becomes the most expensive urban planning cautionary tale in history remains to be seen. But its ambition reflects exactly where the smart city concept is heading. Not just smarter infrastructure on top of existing cities, but entirely new urban models designed from the ground up around intelligent, connected, sustainable living. From the engineered streets of Mohenjo-daro to the sensor networks of Singapore. From Roman aqueducts to AI-powered water management systems that lose less than 3% of supply. From garbage collectors walking fixed routes to underground pneumatic tubes that never need a truck. The smart city is not a new idea. It is the oldest idea in urban history. Make the place where people live work better for the people living in it. What is new is the scale, the speed, and the sophistication of the tools we now have to pursue that goal. The cities of 2026 are already thinking, already sensing, already learning. The question is not whether our cities will become smart. The question is whether we will be smart enough to build them in a way that serves everyone, not just the connected, the wealthy, and the powerful. That question has never been answered perfectly in any civilization in history, but it has also never stopped being worth asking. The lazy time machine will keep asking it, and exploring it, and traveling through time to find the answers hiding in the past. So tell us, would you want to live in a fully smart city? Or does the idea of a city that watches everything make you uncomfortable? Drop your answer in the comments. We genuinely read every single one. And if you want to keep exploring the future through the lens of the past, subscribe and hit the bell. The next trip on the lazy time machine is already loading. See you there.